Hello, world. It's Ritza. Coyote Heart here. It is 6:40 p.m. my time. I didn't make any announcement that I was going to chat, but here I am. And it is Tuesday, the 23rd. So I wanted to share some information with you that I experienced recently and also something I'm doing as well. I'm just going to go over, touch base with my crystal idea, touch base with Reiki, Tesla, a foundation that I experienced, and show you a little art. Talk about Magenta Pixie's book that I'm reading, and probably be a short one. First, I want to invite you all, and happy day, blessings to you, peace to your heart and your mind. I want to just also send out good thoughts to anyone who was involved or knows anyone that was involved today in situations that were unusually challenging, horrific, scary, timeless, untimely, and not to discount the feelings or the situations. Much of what I think that happens that's horrible, reported on mainstream media, is planned, is instigated, is recruited. I don't have proof of that. I'm just going to voice whatever you thought of the last guy who stood in the White House. What was really being talked about in 4 years and what's being shown now on television. If you happen to, and only if you have time, and that's the TV that you watch, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC. What do you hear in this new world that new administration wanted? Did they really? Are they really pre-paving a way for peace? Are they really reporting the truth? Or what they want you to know in the most fearful, ever-evolving, forgive me, I understand this won't appeal to all, mask-wearing vaccine makers, keep your people distant, keep people down, let's do fear, let's be segregated, let's blame another person, and let's forget about our power. Our innate power. Whenever I'm around, I'm going to talk about your power because I need to be reminded of where I came from, my power, and where I'm going to stand. And that is in the power of creation. The person, the being, the intelligence, the all-present, mighty presence of I am, the super consciousness that we've all come from is powerful. And we need to get back to speaking this power and living into that because we can. It's a learned program because it's the truth, and it's a relearning of that program, which is the truth. What you see on your mainstream media, what you see in your regular newspapers is a program for you to be fearful, and then some of you be glad, oh, but that's not me. Better them than me, or hey, that's not over here. It's not over here yet, but it could be you. After all, there are people that can say, yes, but I know someone that it happened to, or it happened to me. Watch what you say. So these are things to ponder. And for those of you who did not go back to look at history, to look at timelines, to see similarities, to read between the lines, to question, to follow others, follow many others, and seeing what similarities were in comparison to those other ones wanting you to stay in fear. Now, even in those that I have followed, or those that I would be a traffic director, or someone called me for people you can go and study for some truth or offerings to ponder. I don't watch the same people anymore. I'm going to do spiritual work. I'm doing my energy work. I'm wanting to have visions for the new life that's unfolding, even as I sit here and as you do whatever you're doing. And that's what I want to be in preparation of. Not to know what else is going on in the world, but there comes a time when if you create your reality, and you do, then you want to be that co-creator and accountable and very present to your feelings and all the things you're putting out there invisibly because you are a magnet bringing them back. So that being said, let me tell you my adventures this weekend. I went to a nonprofit organization called the Lightfield Foundation in Chester, Massachusetts. And while I can't profess to articulate all the specific science that is called in the particular machine that I laid in, for those that you might know, this would be very similar to what is coming called a med bed or a medical bed or medical unit. This machine seems to mostly be made out of a particular wood, but it's crafted a particular way in order to be a beacon and attract frequencies of a higher dimension and work with the human energy field, the physical body as it is, and the body that it truly is. And it's a sort of a rejuvenation and remembrance and a frequency vibration machine to bring the human body back into its full remembering, its fullest optimum health, working mechanisms, especially connected to, which is the ruler of all, the consciousness. I'm going to call it the soul, not that it was called the soul. If I don't talk to you and I fall down because I've had a heart attack or can't breathe or I've left, the soul, that invisible thing that is me, left. The soul doesn't look like me. The soul just took on this shape and decided to have an adventure, or took on this life and decided to have an adventure, to which my soul, in some respect, has been carried around and housed, cared perfectly or not. And while it had strong says at times I might not have followed, we call it intuition, sometimes we call it coincidence. It's not. The antenna being on, you get what you get in alignment, you can end up with a really joyous life. And your antenna not so much in alignment, you have things happen by default. But when it seems the essence of the consciousness is gone from the body, the soul, then the person has expired in its body and they are pronounced dead. They have transitioned out of the body to another spot, because energy is neither created nor destroyed. Frequencies are, and everything is vibration. So I went to this particular place, very modest building. It may have one time been a small business, other business, or a one-bedroom home, and very lovely space. And this machine was there, and it was created in the last 10 years, I believe, 10 or 11 years. But the ideas of it were being patented and worked on earlier. Its founder is no longer present, but his son and other carefully picked, integral, harmonizing humans do a work to endeavor to create similar products that help to integrate the utmost in wellness for the human consciousness. And so people experiencing this machine initially and continually experience upgrades in their own personal adventure and evolution. So I went, and I can tell you it was a wonderful experience. It goes by very quickly. You're an hour in. You don't really, it's kind of an interaction, but you're really physically not doing anything. You're laying down and you're receiving. You can set an intention or intentions as you lie there or before, but you are to relax as much as possible and enjoy the experience. There is a volunteer facilitator who is present just outside the machine this is an open concept type area, and they are there to monitor in case you need any help, if you should get scared, if you have something to say, a question, anything during the whole time, even perhaps not enjoying the music, or if it's too cold, whatever, so that they can be there for supporting you in ease of the adventure. Mine was a great adventure, and I would like to go back. The woman that helped me discover this place is part of an international group I belong to called Connecting Consciousness. Its head of the organization is Simon Parks, and you can find him at simonparks.org. He is in the UK, and that's Parkes. Very influential individual on the planet at this time, and has been for years, informing people of the progress and developments on Earth, helping those understand events as they were unfolding, and even current events. Has He's been brought to the forefront as having been accurate, and his information has been steady and hasn't shifted throughout the years. And that's simonparks.org, and you can join Connecting Consciousness, which is a worldwide awareness type of group that is forwarding an understanding of the planet in humanitarian ways, and knowing that these next years, as we proceed on planet Earth, or Terran, or Gaia, that all the things we do for ourselves, we also do in service of others, or service for others, and will be enriched tenfold. So it's the idea is not to withhold your special gifts, abilities, or kindness, or the visions that you have, entertaining how it is to provide wellness or service in the world, where everyone is valued and everyone is creating a win-win. No one is left at the bottom, in this room at the top, but not in the top of control. It's the enjoyment and the vision to live a full life of opulence, wealth, health, kindness, care worldwide. So this place I highly recommend. It is a nonprofit, and while there is a fee to have this particular attunement, if you will, you certainly can talk with them about an adjustment in the cost. They have several that they do, as well as offer another, which, while I'm hesitant to, I'm not trying to in any way downplay the organization. I did not have the full token myself. I did go buy a donation, and I did give something that I make. I made a couple of things for passing on to this place, and that is part of the deal. If you are making an appointment and you cannot live into the full price, which basically it helps pay for the electricity, and it helps pay to keep the rent going, and other projects going. So whatever it is that you're gifting or you're paying helps with that, which is a normal. We all have a rent, or we all have bills, and we do our best to keep up with those. That's the same for them. They're a volunteers facilitator, but so you pay a token. Your dollars, or whether it's a $1 or the full token, goes into a box. No one has to see or know. And I happen to leave a couple of items that I made for the guest volunteer to have, or to pass on, whatever they decided. I didn't have an agenda for who received what. But the idea is that if you take on a token payment, or a donation payment, that you will do some pay it forward service, whatever that may be, whatever is correct for you to share and put out in the world, that you will write an email on the task that you provided, so that it's a possibility of them using a testimonial on their site, because again, this is about a pay it forward, generating that behavior and that example mindset in the world. So that was cool, and I intend to go again. There are some sister companies that can be found in Connecticut and Rhode Island. I don't have the names right now with me. I should have put them in the more section, or show more section. But what you will find is some information about the inventor Marc Newkirk, and you will find a little bit of information about the Lightfield Foundation. The address where it is, phone number, and email, so you can directly be in contact with them. And I do say that the folks will respond to you. They don't respond the same day or a couple of days. They should respond within the week's time. It's not that they've forgotten about you. The center is not open all the time. It's open probably 3 to 5 times a week. It just depends, and the hours are somewhat they're scheduled and limited. And they certainly are also available for remote healing, much like if you've heard of Reiki, or Melchizedek, or prayers, or setting an intention and powerful thought across the miles to a person that you would like to have receive a blessing. So again, this works with energy, frequency, vibration, and it really is it feels like almost an off-world channeled equipment, much like when you've heard of a right frequency machine. That's RIFFE. Raymond Royal Rife was a doctor inventor of this machine, and in the 30s, it was, I think it was in the 1930s, but it's definitely look upable. He cured 92 or 93 cancer patients that came to him. All of them cured them with the machine. The government took his machine away at the time. Now, how it was reinvented again, that piece I don't have, but there are chiropractors and other practitioners in the world who do have a Rife machine, a Rife frequency machine. I know to purchase it is several $1,000s, but that does exist, and that is a goodly frequency for the body and whatever. And there are people who are ailing who actually go to YouTube and look for these frequencies, and I've used them too. And I can say there are certain ones that have worked, and they do seem to cause ease right away with whatever condition you are experiencing. One of the reasons I also got in touch with one of the sister locations or sister wellness center, and this man is, Peter Roth, ROTH, he is into the Grabavoy numbers, and you'll see that I have 318798, which I really actually need to look up and know more about. But one of my friends took a session in the Grabavoy numerical sequence healing cures and miracle powers. So I'm about Reiki and Grabavoy and just being extremely open to other technologies that are available here on Earth, but us regular people have never been privy to them. You may discover them if you're into deep, black, secret space programs, some aspect of the military, CIA, FBI, or other scientific associations. Most of them have not been for goodly, godly reasons. They've been for the demolish and dominion of the human race and other species. However, I want this to mostly be light, and what I'm giving you are just some alternatives to think about that you won't see on mainstream media. When they were telling you about a virus and how you could be sick, they were basically telling you how to die and protect yourself and keep you from other humans, which is not in the way that we were herded together. We were herded together to band together and care. And my color of my skin may be different from yours, but I bleed red like you. I'm educated or not, traveled or not, have desires or not. We are sisters and brothers on this planet. Whatever we look like, young, old, thin, fat, one-legged or no legs. We are here for a grand awakening. We are here for each other's care, for each other's upliftment. And as an aside, those med beds, as they come into play, whether it's these next 2 years, 18 months, and up to 12 years, they grow back limbs. They bring back youth. They cure. It does not mean that you should forget about your body, yourself, your soul, and go back to old ways. No. They are an enhancement to attune you, to help rejuvenate you, to help give you life and vigor, and for you to really fall into believing into your divinity and your magnificent power. So again, to go to the Lightfield Foundation is a wonderful treat. I'm sure it'll get much better as things open up even more. It's a beautiful place, and I'm told that the area in some spots, or the whole place around this foundation, is a portal. And so the person that turned me on was a good friend of the inventor of the Lightfield unit, and she has someone close to her who helped even build this machine, if you will. It is different looking than if you should stumble upon pictures or be shown pictures of medbed. It's very different. It's a beautiful experience. And when you go there at this time, they have a technology within this particular space that is a very advanced technology of filtration. So you're getting purified, beautiful air. It's much like an experience that if you were ever someone that had to go into an oxygen tent, not a ventilator, an oxygen tent, you are completely supported and uplifted. Now, this is a much lesser intensity of an oxygen tent, and I've been in an oxygen tent due to a severe asthma attack, and I know what it's like to feel like you're going to fall down. You are dying. You cannot get air in. And that's why I know from my own experience, people who were being laid COVID, and good nurses will tell you they do not belong on a ventilator, which spins your cells the other way, doesn't give you a chance to breathe, and helps to fill more of your lungs with fluid. Goodly, godly nurses will tell you that. So will the doctors, not the ones who are brainwashed or especially being dastardly on the side. So take it from someone who had severe asthma as a younger person in my 20s, and I needed an inhaler and I needed fresh oxygen, and in one event needed to be, I didn't know this, I didn't know how they were going to help me. I didn't know if they gave me a shot. They didn't give me a shot of anything. I thought they were going to put something over my nose or give me a shot, because I barely got into the emergency ward, and I thought I was going to pass out in traffic, because in Florida it was like in season and the traffic was so loaded, and I've never been to that hospital. I didn't know exactly, but I was close, and I think I even went a little bit out of my way because I was on my way to work in a job I didn't like, and I was having this anxiety over a lot of things in my living situation, and you know, you're like a young kid, and you just want to have a good life and fun, and you're an old kid and you want to have good life and fun. But anyway, so I know the difference, and I'm just letting you know my experience, and certainly want to support you. You belong in an oxygen tent. If you ever can't breathe, you belong in an oxygen tent, not with stuff over your face. So anyway, I think I was saying the Lightfield Foundation is absolutely worth checking out. The gentleman in question who built this and had this download technology and understanding was working with. He won his vast accolades. He produced over 1,000 inventions, both in the USA and combo of the USA and worldwide. He has titles from engineering associations, very, very revered in scientific communities, and to a point where other scientists wanted to steal his pattern, steal his idea, and market the Lightfield for their own profit. And he basically said, this is for the masses, this is for the people, this is so that they will be reacquainted with their super consciousness and all that they are, and to forward them into their future like no other. So I want to shout that place out. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to keep going back and recording. I only went once, but imagine, if I could go once a week or 3 times a month for the next 2 or 3 months. I'm going to keep reporting it. I did have a chiropractic appointment today. I still raved about this place to the chiropractor. I wish he and his wife will go. I wish he and his wife will purchase a smaller kind of an assistant tool that is made by folks familiar with the technology, that have worked with the machines and have these sister technologies, there are some these small units, not a full bed that you walk into like a machine or anything, but they are available. And while they are somewhat, costly for the average person's, in a sense, pocketbook, for someone having that extra money waiting around, or willing to invest, or perhaps even being gifted this, I highly recommend. I think it's I would like one. I would like to figure out how I could be sponsored to have one or something. I mean, this would be amazing. Anyway, so I wanted to give that shout out, and I wanted to give that shout out to Peter Roth. I have not met him, nor have I met the inventor's son, who has his own center in Rhode Island, and that is worth checking out too. And forgive me, in my next post, I'll put the names of these places so you can also check in the comment section. But again, you can find out through calling the Lightfield Foundation, or you'll see their website and send them an email. These people are very integral, and they're heartfelt, and they're very present, and they'll get back to you. To the point this affected me so much is I would like to volunteer my time. And it's almost made me feel like, because I'm making these great friends out in Western Massachusetts and around New England, a part of me almost wants to stay in New England and not ever feel like going back to the Southwest. But in manifestation, I don't have a place here. I don't have a place there. So I can, because I love to travel. I love culture. I love seeing different things. I'm so filled up with nature that's what I remember what it likes to feel like at this Indian marketplace in the um, canyon of I want to say it's not the village of Oak Creek, but it's within Oak Creek Canyon, and in a canyon which you would think it's just Sedona or Red Rock. There was a beautiful place that once you went behind this particular turned into a lunch place and a general store. Beautiful greens. It's very interesting, Arizona. It's quite lovely. And it sometimes doesn't have like what New England has for stuff to get tos, but each place we live has its own unique magic. So it's worth a trip and worth checking out. So I'll probably interject. I also want to mention about science. Check out Tesla 369. So 369 in brief summary, numbers and sequences, and that's why bringing up that grab a boy numbers. Let's see. Here's one too. This one is about money. This one is supposed to be used in a silver or white silver opaque-ish type of field. I didn't draw it out in a line, but I put it over each other, and one is, I think, about God, one is about the universe, and one is for infinity. I may have that wrong. So money, unexpected solutions, and I think infinity. But I'm wrong. An eight is a yin yang infinity number. But it does say it. If you look up 520-7418, and this is also like this because it's a space. They're meant to have spaces. They're not meant to be all smushed together. That's why Grab a Boy's numbers are so interesting, because it's a specific harmonization of numerical sequences, whether they're all linear in a row or linear with you could call it a space or a hyphen. You don't put the hyphen in, but you would have a dash or what is called a pause, and you would continue the number. And I'm just making up something. It's totally made up. 1, 2, 3, pause or space. 7, 8, 9, pause. 1, 4, 7, 2, 0. And to view it and intentionally, whatever you need it for, the more you start to incorporate and look at it, it brings in the healing. And for some reason, and this is the part I don't know about Grab a Boy, the left, maybe because it's closer in a sense to the heart, written in the hand on the left side or leg, empowers it. Again, Gregory, or how I say his name, Gregory Grabavoy is still alive, and he's a genius, a mathematician, scientific genius, and very spiritual. So, okay, so let's go on to something a little fun. I still am making my cards, so I had to totally take one apart because I found out as I was working, I don't know why I didn't catch it, the inside where the papers were crooked. It wasn't even. It was crooked somehow. So this one is my Carl, and I've mounted him on silver, and I've kind of kept him kind of like a 3D, kind of puffy. It's going to be blank inside this one, so I'm going to add some accoutrements. What I decided was I'm cutting this out, which has my email on it. So I'm going to cut out the cactus, and then I'll be putting my logo over it. It's like that. So anyway, the words won't be there. So it'll be kind of cool, I think, for a change. And Coyote Heart will be there. And then I will put a couple little pictures inside, and then you can say whatever you want. This card I love showing because it has the hearts on it in the back. Coyote Heart. And This is Roxanne, and she says, I am love. The words here. When I did the ceramic, the words came out okay. You can really see it better if it's in person. But this is actually the original is at 80. It's priced at $80 tile. And whoops, there's a little Be-Do magical kitty. And then You Are Love Beyond Measure with the hearts. And I don't know if this one, maybe this says the same thing too inside. Let's see. You are powered. No, You Are Love Beyond Measure. So this again is a different Roxanne. I called her Roxanne in white. There is Roxanne that has she has like an angel behind her. Let me see if I can get that better. I did that when I felt totally like I was living in Revere, and this I created at a bookstore. And I did that because I was feeling like maybe my angels had deserted me, and I needed to feel spiritual and reconnect with my spiritual self. And also I was missing Arizona because I always miss Arizona. And then You Are Love Beyond Measure. There is the quote. Anytime there's a quote, I'll tell you who it's by, which this is the Abraham Hicks group. Again, this is all my art. And ta-da! Every card is handmade. They're always going to be a little bit different. So singly, they're $5.75. And together in a pack, I think they're like a little over $22 for 6. They're going to have stickers in them and a bio, so you'll have some extra treats. And I'm, getting a few more together in this particular ones that I'm doing, but I'm not quite done. Like I always go over them and check out if I need to add anything and add a little something that will enhance your experience. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing with that. I'm trying to think. I wanted to talk to you about the Magenta Pixie book I'm reading. I'm almost done with it actually because I really like it. So it's easy to read. And it is Lessons from a Living Lemuria, and it's basically talking about the Lemurian diet. It does answer questions about karma. It does answer questions about the foods that we're eating and how we get to them. And what really impressed me that I really felt upset about, I know this will seem so naive. I probably mentioned this in my last video. I don't want to drive a Volkswagen anymore. I want to drive a car where the car corporation kills animals the least. And I know it might be a fine line, but it looks like if I am going to get a car or a different car, I'm going to work on the manifestation allowance of having like a Ford or a Chevy. I think they do get their results from General Motors, but I don't believe they do the same testing. I could be wrong, and you can give me a shout. But I'm really looking at cars that don't harm living things. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, they showed you, driver's education stuff, and they show you dummies that crash and the potential of what could happen to the human body. They did some simulations. Now, you mean they're showing these things in driver school without the animals and blood and guts and heads and rolling? And I mean, that's a lie, and that needs to stop. It's like you might have known somebody near you or knew somebody in the process of being around who would always different lights who might be protesting the circus. And yeah, personally I think that elephants belong in safari land and out in Africa or India. They belong where they belong, and you go see them treading through easily. Don't leave in a cage to learn tricks, and so most of the time get hurt. Not all. I mean, there are people who love their animals, and they're not going to hurt them. And their hearts must go out knowing that. I mean, where do you put an animal when it's old after having lived in the circus or zoos taking them, when they go to the meat house? I mean, what is in your meat? Do you think you're going to go run across a package that says, "Hi, nicely chopped elephant meat, fresh for you"? No. Sorry. Do you think when you have your boiled ham, they're going to say, "Ooh, nicely boiled ham, fresh for you"? Do you know how the pigs got there? Do you know how hot the water is? Imagine how when you're getting ready for your bathtub and it's just a little bit too hot, just come out. You don't have to come out. They throw pigs alive into the ghastly boiling water. They're screaming for their lives. I mean, if you were to show your children, or if you were to look at, and I'm not inviting that you should, and I'm not inviting that you maybe shouldn't, but I'm not inviting that you should show your 9-year-old, which I know a dad who did, showed their 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, I think she was 9, something about how chickens are fed and mass producedly sold and a slaughterhouse experience. And she was done. There's a cute little video. It's cute. There was a 4-year-old, or I don't think she was even 5. She was 4, maybe 3 or 4. And her mom would say, "Oh, don't you want to eat the chicken? And don't you want to have this?" And her little daughter was crying, saying, "No, I don't want to eat that. That was a lie. That was my friend. I don't want to eat that." And the mother said, "What you going to eat?" And the little girl kept saying, "Anything but the chicken. Anything but animals. Anything. I'll eat whatever is on the table that you put out. Anything but the animals." And she was very cute and very sweet about it. And the mother was saying something about animal and, you know, it's okay, it's gone now. It didn't feel anything. And the little girl was like, but it wasn't so good for the animal. And she starts crying. It's so cute, but it's so true. If I could find it, I'd probably put that on YouTube every day. You just have to think about what we do. I'm not saying you have to run out. In fact, it's not good for you and your unit to run out if you've been a meat eater or chicken eater or fish eater, to run out and become that overnight. That's a lot of stress on you. It's a lot of stress on you emotionally, mentally, and stress on your physical body, because it will take time, whatever that is. It would take you saying, okay, so I'm not going to buy regular meat. I'm going to make sure I go to Mr. Brown and get the farm raised. I'm going to go to XYZ and the farmer's market. I'm going to make sure I get X, Y, and Z raised chicken, or I'm going to go and support wild caught salmon. For now, I'm going to make these upgrades because this is what I still do enjoy. This is what I enjoy to eat. This is what works for me in my lifestyle. And then as I can, I'm going to become more mindful, because I am mindful. I do care, and I'm going to see what other changes I can make. It doesn't work to go all at once. I don't eat meat or fish at this time. Now, if I really, 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 really needed to, and I was called to, I would. And I would do my best to make choices that were upgraded. Because I am part human in this body, and I'm having experiences. So, and I want to choose to be healthy. But I know that it can be a process, and everyone's path is different. So I'm not saying you should not at all, because that would be incorrect of me to be a guru god over you. But I am saying that as we become more conscious about what we do in life, and everything we do is connected to everything else, then it's just becoming a more mindful player in this game of life. First, of course, that we have a full, rich, amazing, wealthy, healthy, fun, vibrant life, which if we can stay centered for that, then all our dreams will come true. And I'll meet my investor for art. People will start buying my art and my stuff and my body scrubs, and people will just make friends, and we'll have a great time, and my health will be great, and I'm so pleased for all the optimum blessings of health and dollars and a rich life in every way, from soup to nuts, from the place I live to the places I go. And I can share that with you and include you, because that's what I want to do with my wealth. I don't want to hoard on it alone. That'd be silly for me. I want to share. So, and I just want to say it's being conscious, so that if you know you're eating buffalo and you're eating cow and it was slaughtered, there's blood, and that has an energetic action of the particular kind of slaughter, has an energetic frequency to it. Even be killed humane in many cases, well, it still has an energetic frequency to it. Animals are beings. They know. So we upgrade ourselves as we can. We're doing our best. But to say, oh, animals don't feel anything is folly. And you don't mean to be ignorant. It's a program. This is a program. And we can re-examine where we're at and open up so much more so that we can be so much more. Let's not play small. Let's try and strive to play higher. And that happens by us being present, by breathing in this now time, breathing in now, giving thanks and gratitude for what is, and understanding some laws of the universe, incrementally at first, and also being kind to ourselves as we're super kind to ourselves and super honest and transparent and clear. There's no way you can repeat lies out into the world. You could say, thank you for asking me. I need some time to get back to you to think about how I want to answer you. Or, you're right. I'm sensitive. This is not a good time for a conversation, but I think that we should talk. Period. You have to go on and on and on. You don't have to feel guilty. You will get back to that situation. And you're just doing the best you can to pay bills, to create, to love, to get your hair cut so it looks good. And yeah, like that. Oh, one more person. I met this young woman. Well, we haven't talked yet. She's Mariah Speaks. She also wants to sell crystals. And I don't know if it's a couple of years or a year. She started this crystal business, and she's out in Nevada way. So I want to connect with her more and make a new friend. But she's very lovely. She is a truther. She's speaking her mind about, asking questions and looking at things and deciding for yourself and really being awakened to being on earth and an appreciation of life. And she's really super cool. And I think she's 19 or 20 years old. And I think she'd be a great friend. And her name, so she's on YouTube, Mariah Speaks. I'm actually looking forward to doing, I think, some of these live casts with people I've met on Simon Park's in this group, Connecting Consciousness. I would love some people to come on and talk about it, is what they do, what they wish for their life, what they wish for the world, and maybe where they see themselves now, and maybe in 3 or 5 years, or what's their magical dream if nobody was looking in on it. What would they do if they secretly could? And nothing is, nothing's really off limits. The only thing that I wouldn't be doing is I wouldn't be having anyone on that was, mean, and no mean memes, even if you feel you're justified. No mean memes, silly, but to that point that not mean. When something's mean, even if it seems silly, it's mean. You don't want to do that. I would prefer very uplifting people who really just having a chat about the things they desire in their life and what it is they do, their hopes and aspirations, and how it is they're navigating their path and what kind of help they need as well. Because we're all here. If we can help each other a little bit, we uplift each other, and no one goes alone. We go shoulder to shoulder best we can. When we can't, we carry. If we must be ahead, we're ahead, but not so far ahead that people are left behind and uncared for and forgotten. Yeah. All right, my little coyote heart just loves you. This has been about 43 minutes long. I hope you hear it to the end. Looking forward to your feedback, and might not be able to listen all at once. You have a life, but good wishes to you. You're powered by the stars, 100,000,000%. Look to the skies. That's where our cousins are. Well, some of them, and they're here for us. Bye now.